So I'll dismantle everything and show you where everything should belong. You know, in case you happen to dismantle it and not be able to put it back. So the bare part of everything is roughly like that. We start with this lock. So this is where your doorknob will be. This is what does the locking and unlocking movement. And how the door lock works is this way. Assuming you have set up all your wires correctly, when you have a wrong fingerprint, you will only hear a sound. There are no mechanical movements that you see here. But let's say you have a correct fingerprint movement. What you will notice is over here. You will see a little plastic lever that moves in and out. So if this moves, it means that your electronic lock is working. And more importantly, what you should have set up to get your fingerprint unlock working is to have this little metal knob being released. This should be released. By default, right, all of these knobs are actually inside. And what you were supposed to do is to release one of these knobs from either this side of the lock or from the underneath. So there are two of these very tiny screws. Let me try to find. Yeah. So this is the screw. So this is the screw that came out from the other side, from underneath, yeah, of the lock. That depends on which side of the door is supposed to be the outside. So in my case, underneath this lock is considered the outside. Hence, I remove the screw. So the screw has to be removed while this bolt is sort of turned halfway. If you look at it from the outside, you will be able to see this little blue screw, and you have to use this tool that comes with your Xiaomi set to unlock it. So let me demonstrate it from the top. It will look like something like this. So you just have to turn it, and what you'll notice is that this silver knob will come out. And you cannot just leave the little blue screw halfway out. You have to remove the whole thing. And once you remove the whole thing, your fingerprint lock should be working correctly. So for my own purposes, I'm going to put this screw back. But for your case, once you remove this screw at the correct side, that should be it. You shouldn't put it back anymore. And you can keep this screw somewhere safe in case you want to change the direction or whatever. So give me a minute, I'll put this screw back. Okay. So I'll try to explain what is actually going on with this knob. So I'll also go ahead to remove this knob. Now this knob determines your handle. So when you push or pull your Xiaomi handle, what happens to this lock is the handle will attempt to do a rotating force. Either most likely it's actually this way, as if you have set up the direction of the pushing and pulling correctly. And what you will see is that once you remove the screw, the little blue screw over here, which I've shown here, this knob becomes sort of like a free play. Now this free play is what determines whether your fingerprint lock works, because now I'm showing you this is the part where this is the one connected to your fingerprint lock. So when it's over here, and this is from the outside of the door, I have removed the little small screw. When you try to push the handle, it will look something like this. The internal motion, yeah, there's this free play going on. But let's say you have engaged the fingerprint and it recognizes a correct fingerprint. What happens is that this white color motor is going to push this lock in. So once it pushes this lock in, you'll realize that your motion from the outside is engaged with this whole lock. So this will enable you to actually open the door properly. if your fingerprint is not recognized, this motor is not going to depress this little knob. And when you attempt to open the door, it's going to look like that. So there's this free motion that prevents your deadbolt from moving. Only when this is depressed can you move this. So I will show you what the motor looks like again, so that you can have an idea of what internally it looks like. Okay, so this is a wrong fingerprint. There'll be a sound that's played, and this plastic piece doesn't move at all. Now this is a correct. You'll notice that for a moment, the plastic piece depresses this silver piece. And it's during this interval when it's being pressed in, you'll be able to rotate the doorknob. Okay, so now I'll try to assemble this back, because I think on YouTube so far I've only seen a video of a Vietnamese guy who disassembled the lock, but I think he was trying to solve some of these label issues. So I will try to highlight some parts that may make you feel that, why is this part not actually retracting when necessary. So one thing to look out for when you assemble this part, there's this little metal bracket here. You must be careful to assemble it behind this bracket, so that this is providing some force pushing against it. So sometimes you might be tempted to put it like this. So you notice this is the wrong way to do it, because when you do this, this part of the lock, it gets stuck here. There's this little metal bracket over here blocking the movement. So the correct way to do it is actually to hook this piece over and then depress it into the little latch here. So pull it over, just a little bit of strength will do. So this is actually what it should look like. Please ignore the sound. And okay, the beeps are actually caused by a few things. One of which is this. You can see here, this is actually a switch that is activated whenever you open the door. Because when the door is closed, this thing will be depressed in like this. And what you'll notice is that the switch is actually not being depressed. So this right now I'm over here. I'm simulating a door closed motion. So this is when the switch is being depressed, and I think the lock is beeping because it probably accidentally touched it lah. But when you open the door, the switch is being depressed in this way by this lock lah. So this will start to trigger sort of like a status of a door open. Yeah, I hope sort of understandable. The next switch, which highlights whether the bolt is open or unopened, is this switch over here. So I will show you when the bolt is being opened, the switch will be released. So the actual plastic switch is here, and this metal piece is actually just here to help to click on the switch over here. So it's a deep switch lah. Yeah. So when your bolt is closed, your switch is depressed. So these are the two things that will determine whether your lock is being set up correctly or not. Okay, so I'll assemble things back one by one. So if you have difficulties, it's a bit hard for me to explain because I don't really know how to explain what each piece is lah. But roughly know how they contribute to the overall. So just feel free to pause the video and see how this thing is assembled back. This should fit snugly. This is the range of motion for it, upwards. So, and for this piece over here, it should be latched together like that. It should be comfortable. It shouldn't be, one of it sticking out like this. And one way to fit this properly is to, let it fit into the groove underneath. So both side of this has its adjacent grooves, its respective grooves. I mean, yeah. So and this is supposed to be the configuration. If you were to push this thing up, this will pop out. Yeah. But because the plate is not on, so this tends to pop out of its motion. But the actual motion should be outwards like that. So in, out, and it should be able to go all the way in like this. This means that this part is set up correctly. Okay, so moving on, this is where your main board is. Your springs should be hooked on here and connected to here by this ring. Then that will be fine. And moving on, so this is the next part that you have to assemble. This is what helps to slide the bolt inwards. Over here there's a little knob. It will be connected to this like double loop spring over here. So it looks something like this. Yeah. I've tried both ways of connecting the spring. So one way is to connect it like this. You know, whether it's the loop coming out from this side or coming out from the other side like this. I think both are fine, but this is actually better. And this part will go to the end of this spring over here. So one way would be to put it together like this, and then flip it over, and make sure that this goes into the hole here. And this is meant to be the free play to guide the bolt inwards for locking. So this is how it looks locked. The thing will keep sounding as long as the switch is, released. Okay, so this will be set up correctly already. So moving on, the next piece to put in would be this piece. So this is sort of like the piece that will catch the bolt. So what you will notice right now, if you were to push the bolt in, it's going to actually spring back out. If it were pressed down. Okay, maybe not. But if slide motions will be able to let the bolt slide out. It's a bit hard to demonstrate here. But basically, what will happen is, with this piece over here, this knob will slide into. This knob slides into this groove here. So it also acts as a guiding, sort of like a guiding rod for it. And okay, this piece starts from here. Yeah. Oh, sorry. You'll notice that there's this little gap between this piece and this bolt over here. So this is where this little silver cylinder comes into play. This is what sort of fits into its radius. I mean its diameter, whatever. Yeah, like this. So it should be a little bit more tight. And this, if you look at this motion, it should be correct. The position, this is over here. This bolt will be underneath the sliding path, and this pin will be right below this, the first piece that we assembled. Yeah. So if we were to slide it backwards, if you reassembling it, just push it down a little bit, you will be able to slide it backwards. So what you will notice is that this piece should be able to go upwards. So something like that. Let me just put things, fix it back up. Okay, so I forgot to show you. This is the spring that keeps the bolt. Let the bolt, shoot back out. So how you assemble is sort of simple lah. This little piece goes into the depression, this little groove of the main bolt piece. It's a long groove. So once you put it in, right, like that, then the other side of the spring, just hook it. You don't actually hook it. It's just pressing against the side of this lock. So once it's like that, there's a bit of tension, right? It's fine. You push a little bit, it'll spring back already, like that. Yeah. And this hook, this part of the hook is what will prevent the bolt from springing back. So the lock position will look something like this. Oops. Trying to show the position. Yeah. So by right, the function of this piece, right, in its proper position, is to prevent the whole bolt from sliding back out like that. I mean, in its tight position. Yeah. So this groove is purpose is to stay here, and because of this, the spring can be pushing against this, but will not be able to let go until the top part of this presses it down, and it will release and bounce back like just now. Yeah, a little bit hard to see at the moment, but I hope this is sort of understandable to you all. So back to reassembling. This is just a support cylinder that fits here, over here. Last piece is this. It looks like that. Yeah. So this goes onto over here. Spring. Easier to just hook the spring first and loop it over like that. Yeah. And this little piece is supposed to be below. So maybe you can just lift it up like that. Yeah. And make sure everything is back in position. Yeah. So this is the actual position of how your lock should be. Yeah. And once everything is done right, you can actually close. Oh, sorry. Last piece, washer. So this washer is just to put it on top. I think like to guide the motion or something. Yeah. So once this is done, you can actually reassemble the whole thing. So just to no, I don't think I will. Just check, make sure you can do this. It's fine if this one, you aren't able to push it at this position, because this can only be pushed in when this thing goes up. This piece only goes up when this piece only goes up when the bolt retracts, because when the bolt retracts, you see this bottom piece where we're pushing this piece all the way up. When that happens, when this piece goes up, this one shoots out, this one is free to move. So this is what will enable your door to actually be open. The door pushing motion actually will enable it to be depressed all the way, and your door can come up. And once your door closes, this comes back in, and yeah, and this piece will attempt to slide back in. And the moment it does so, right? So for example, because when you open the door, it's like that, then yeah, and it's in a free space, and this will shoot out like this, and this piece will actually push down this piece. So this piece was originally holding the bolt in this direction, but once it gets pushed down, it releases the bolt, and your bolt shoots out. So this is, I mean, this whole motion will show that once your door leaves the that strike plate, your bolt will shoot out. So I think that's correct. Yeah, that should be correct. But anyway, I mean, I think it sounds very confusing. Maybe just rewatch the video without my talking. That may be actually clearer to most of you. But I hope this is helpful. Okay, so having said that, last test would be to make sure that your lock is working. As long as this motor is able to move, right, your lock should be fine. Because firstly, it means that your wires are set up correctly. At least when you install it on the door, you can be sure that your fingerprint sensor works. Disclaimer, my Xiaomi set, I have already done the software setup necessarily with at least one enrolled fingerprint. So that is why I can do this test. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just reassemble everything. When everything is back in place, you just put it back, I guess. If it doesn't fit, you can use your little Allen key just to shake around the components and make them go back in place. Or you can just guide some pieces back, shake a bit. Yeah, and then it should fit snugly. So one way to tell is if it's sort of flat all around, If it's not flat, you could try to shake a little bit more. See whether there are any last pieces that are stuck inside. Yeah, and once everything is done right, just screw everything back. It's fine. You should have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws lah. And if it's your first time opening the lock, this screw is actually covered by a sticker, so you just have to break through the sticker. It's not made of metal. Not a problem. Okay. Okay, so that's your lock. Functional test, what you can do is just insert it and pull the lock. So the lock should always be from a down, the bolt should be retracted always from this motion, anti-clockwise motion. Yeah. So be it from this way or from the other side. Now the retracting of the bolt, right, depends largely on where is your outside of the door. Again, so this is sort of like a recap. This position I'm showing you, this is the outside of the door, and the other side here is the inside of my door. From my inside, I should be able to retract my bolt at any time that I want. From the outside, I will not be able to retract the bolt. It should be free to move around like that. Only when my fingerprint is being recognized, I should be able to unlock the bolt. Yeah, in this way. I think I tried to demonstrate again because it wasn't too clear. So only when I unlock it can I missed it again. Yeah. Try again, one last time. I'm using my finger lah, but you know, if you attach the bolt to the lever, it's much easier. Yeah, but this is just to demonstrate what it looks like when you have set up the locks correctly. So some of your locks may not be locking or using the fingerprint correctly. Again, it's because of this little piece. So how do you access this screw over here? When you turn your lock a little bit, you can notice over here there's this screw hole. So this is what will determine whether the outside of your door is facing this part of the bolt or this part of the bolt. If it's facing outside, remove the blue screw. That's it. So it's as simple as that. And I'll show you the inside of my door. Still has this blue screw here, if you can see. Yeah, so this is the blue screw here. By default, it's hidden. You have to actually apply a bit of force to see this screw. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. Hopefully this is helpful to you. I'm pretty sure the other videos are all available by people's installation. We'll show you how to set up the wires, so that's fine. For this lock actually doesn't do, there's no motor in this lock. The purpose of connecting the cylinder is just to detect whether the key is stuck inside. That's it. So nothing new. Yeah, hope this helps. Thank you.